Hi, this is Dustin with Dustin's Dollars, and today I am again talking about Knightscope and Knightscope stock, and I am going to be talking about their customer concentration. This is a risk of every company you invest in, um, and today I'm going to go over how large this risk is for them and how this has changed a little bit over time. And spoiler alert, we don't have great data on this, so I'm going to give you my best read on it. Before I begin, let me remind you, I am not a financial advisor or a financial professional of any sort. All opinions that I express in this video are mine and do not represent those of any company or any other individual. I do own a long position in Knightscope. So basically this video should be for your entertainment only because I could be wrong about everything that I say in this video. You need to do your own research before making any investment decisions. All right. Before I do get into my main topic for today, I did want to just cover this. If you missed it, Knightscope made another sale today of two robots, two K5s, I think it was. Yep, two K5s. This is at a downtown Denver real estate and infrastructure owner, operator, lender, whatever that means. And well, I guess it says they were going to be deployed in Denver's premier mixed-use neighborhood. The one thing I did notice is they say one in each in two multi-level parking structures. And that is actually a common theme that I might dedicate a separate video to about all the mentions of parking. And I might do a little bit of research into what features Knightscope does seem to offer in terms of parking structures. But just wanted to mention that today. And again, I don't think any of these individual sales announcements are a big deal, but it is nice to see that they happen, and it is given the number of robots that they actually have is so small, it's around 90 or 100 depending, somewhere around 100, let's just say. Every single robot counts as 1 or 2 more percent in revenue, so that's always nice to see, of course. But on today's topic, we're talking about the Knightscope's customer concentration risk, and this is a big deal, right? And we've actually seen this in the first half of 2021. The company lost, they say I've mentioned this before, the company received notice of a client's intent not to renew its machine as a service agreement for the 12-month subscription period spanning 2021 to 2022, and the client represented over 10% of the company's 2020 revenue, right? So that's why they're reporting it here, why they're calling it out. That this is notable. That I'm sure they've had lots of cancellations. I've done the math. They actually, it's hard to tell because we don't have perfect information. We have some of their sales announcements, and then we have just the reported numbers every 6 months, and even at that, only up through the end of June 2021. But they had quite a high cancellation rate, at least over some period of time, right? That's why we saw these sales announcements, renewal announcements at the same time that you saw flat growth. That tells me they basically had enough sales to offset the cancellations that they got. And we can see just right here, this was one client that represented over 10% of the revenue. That was probably, as I've mentioned before, 5 or 6 robots, right? So 5 or 6 sales agreements of individual customers of one robot were offset by this one client that didn't renew. So customer concentration risk is a very real, it's a very real problem for Knightscope, I think. And so today I wanted to go through a little bit of at least what I could find in terms of how big of a problem this is for them. And so I was able to look at, they did have some information filed about this, right? And so I think maybe I put these in the wrong order. So I'm going to start here. I think they only had these on the annual reports, right? And so they say, so for the year ended 2018, at the end of December 31st, 2018, they say they had one customer who individually accounted for 10% or more of the company's total revenue. But they had one customer that at the time represented 23% of the revenue. So that's huge, right? If that one customer canceled on them, they would have immediately lost 23% of the revenue, of their 2018 revenue. So that's huge. Then by 2019, they had 2 such customers that represented each individually represented 18% and 16% of their total revenue. So, it's not actually obvious to me if they're, depending on how you want to actually talk about the customer concentration risk, like it actually might have gotten worse because at this point they had one customer that represented 23%, but here they had 2 customers that each represented more than 10%. So that's sort of a mixed bag. And then going one step further, in 2020, they had 3 clients that represented over 10% of their 10% or more of their revenue from 2020, right? 10%, 15%, and 21%, right? And so if I can do the math, well, here, I'll just use the calculator so I don't get it wrong. 21 plus 15 plus 10, right? They had 3 clients who together represented 46% of their revenue in 2020. Yikes. I mean, I think that's bad. Hi, somebody in the chat. Hi, I'm gonna try to pronounce it. I'm Random Lie Loco. Hi there. So I'm talking about Knightscope's customer concentration risk. So feel free if you have any comments or questions, leave them in the chat. So in 2020, right, this got, I think, worse, right, where they had 3 customers who in total represented 46% of their revenue. That's pretty bad, I think. And we can even say, I don't have it here, of exactly how many machines and customers that was. We do know that as of June 30th, 2021, we don't have those exact numbers in terms of which customers represented what percentages of their revenue, but we do know that they had 34 clients that represent 51 machines in network as halfway through 2021. So that so the best data that I had to go off of from that and to project forward was to look at, to compute on average how many robots per customer they have, right? And so what I actually did, my methodology here, was I went through all of their sales agreements that I could find, right? And so my main source of this was all their updates on Start Engine. Some of these were just in emails, they sent out as their newsletter. I have all of those old emails there and their old investors page before they updated to the new investor relations website. And so what I did for that is I looked at how many, every single sales agreement. I copied the headline here just so I could track these, and I could probably delete that column, not so useful for this particular purpose. And I looked at, on each date, how many robots did they say they had from that particular client. And so some of these are going to be represented in those prior numbers. Some of these will not. But if I go through all of this, in all of 2021, right, so a year's time of new sales, they announced sales of 54 robots throughout 2021, and that was distributed across 33 clients. So on average, I think each client had 1.64 robots per client in 2021. And so if I then sort of look back at the actual reported numbers that they had, I don't know why that scroll over so far to the right. So I made graphs out of these, but I also looked at their filings, and I looked at the filings every 6 months all the way back to 2017 to see what these numbers looked like, over time. And so this column here is how many machines they report as having deployed in network at the time, as of the date, and this is the number of clients that was represented by. And I actually hadn't looked at these numbers in particular, I hadn't thought about them in this particular way, the number of clients. It's very interesting. There's like this spike on midway 2018 where something happened where they had more customers at that point than they would have had all the way through until mid 2021, right? 32 customers here. Can I make that downloadable for you? I will look into that, and I will see if I can add a link later on in the comments. It's all just based on the public data, but absolutely, I will see what I can do. I will. It'll take me a little bit. Maybe by tomorrow, I will try to get that in the. I'll paste the link in the comments. So thanks for asking. So I also looked at, right, you divide those, right? How many machines per customer did they have in these reported numbers? And it was interesting to see that they started off. I'm actually not sure. Please, sure. I will figure out how I can do that for y'all. I'll get it in the description of the video by tomorrow. It's great to have some people on here. Thank you for joining in real time. That's awesome. Feel free to, again, if you have any comments, let me know. I'm not actually sure how this first number works, and I did double check the numbers. It is listed they had 21 clients and only 19 machines in network. So I don't know if maybe they changed their standard for, that they included some clients that maybe had things that weren't deployed. I think later on, I thought I saw it in a filing where they said that it was actually number of clients is listed right next to the machines and network. So I think those might be the same. Might be 1-to-1. Maybe I'm wrong. But over time, this number did sort of grow, but it stayed in sort of the twos. You can see as of end of 2018 and all the way through to 2020, they had on average more than 2 machines per customer, which that really tells me, and that actually backs up the numbers of that they had a high concentration in a couple customers, because if you've seen their announcements of sales, most of them are 1K5 here, 1K5 there. And a lot of them are just one, which implies in order for this average to be 2.2, there have to be a couple of customers that have 5 robots, 6 robots that bring that average up. However, by mid 2021, their number of robots had been flat for almost 2 years, maybe almost 3 years there, but they actually had this distributed across more clients. And so I think we don't have the actual these sort of numbers of how many individual clients and what percent of revenues they report they represented, because they like I said, I don't think they report these on the semi-annual reports, only the full year reports. But I think that has actually gone down. I think that the client concentration risk has gone down, because we can see this average number of machines per customer go down here, and this is what it looks like over time with the graph, right? And this is the actual graph of the average, the one that I am sort of drawing my conclusion on at present, that indicates to me that they do have their robots that are deployed spread across more customers, so they are less reliant on any one particular customer. Granted, they still have a couple customers that probably represent a good chunk, but I actually think if you look at the 2021 sales, that this has you see a lot of 1s and you see some 2s and some 3s, and obviously just deploying more robots overall is going to reduce your customer concentration risk, because now if they, as I've speculated, I think they have roughly 100 machines deployed. Now all of a sudden, a client that has 5 robots deployed that used to be, let's say, 10% of the revenue, or maybe slightly more, now is more like 5%. So that just in and of itself, by having more robots deployed, will actually reduce that customer concentration risk. So that is all I had to go through today. So thank you for watching. I'll stay on just for a moment if there's anybody who has questions, since we have a couple folks in the chat here today, which is fantastic. Cool. Well, like I say, I will take a look at making this spreadsheet shareable. I'm not going to get to it tonight, but I will commit to you that by tomorrow night, I will have this spreadsheet in a way where it can be downloaded to you. I will paste the link in the description. Okay? Sound good? All right. Thanks for watching. See y'all later.